It was a sunny Saturday morning when I decided to do something unusual, try vertical farming. I had read so much about this new way of growing food indoors, using stacked layers and LED lights instead of open fields. As an English learner and an environmental enthusiast, I wanted to experience it firsthand and improve my vocabulary about sustainability at the same time. The vertical farm was located inside a large warehouse on the edge of my city. From the outside, it looked ordinary grey walls, no windows, and a metal door. But the moment I stepped in, I entered a futuristic world of glowing pink and blue lights. The air smelled fresh, like a forest after rain. Rows of lettuce, spinach, and strawberries grew in tall towers that reached the ceiling. The plants were not in soil, but in nutrient-rich water technique called hydroponics. "Welcome to Green Rise Vertical Farm," said Mia, the guide and manager. She was friendly and passionate, speaking in clear English that I could easily understand. "Here, we use 90% less water than traditional farms and no pesticides at all." That sentence caught my attention. "New pesticides?" I asked, surprised. Mia smiled. "Yes, we don't need them. Our plants grow indoors, safe from insects and bad weather. Everything is monitored by sensors and computers." I followed her as she showed me the automated irrigation system. Tubes carried water and minerals directly to the plant roots. Screens displayed the humidity, temperature, and light levels. It was like a smart home for vegetables. Then Mia handed me a pair of gloves and said, "Would you like to try harvesting?" I nodded eagerly. I had never picked vegetables before. She guided me to a section full of butter lettuce. The leaves were large, green, and perfect. "Cut just above the base," she instructed. I did as she said, carefully using the scissors. It felt satisfying to hold something so fresh and alive in my hands. As we worked, she asked me questions to practice my English. "Why do you think vertical farming is becoming popular?" I thought for a moment. "Because the world's population is growing, but land is limited," I answered. "So we must grow food upward instead of outward." "Excellent point," she replied with a smile. Her encouragement made me feel confident. Later, we walked to the strawberry section. The fruits hung in long rows, shining under the LED lights. "These strawberries are grown with aeroponics," she explained. "That means the roots hang in the air and are sprayed with a nutrient mist." I repeated the word slowly. "Aeroponics. That's a new one for me." She laughed softly. "Now you've learned one more English term." We sat in the break area where she offered me a small basket of freshly picked strawberries. They were the sweetest I had ever tasted. As I enjoyed them, she explained how vertical farming could help cities become more self-sufficient instead of importing food from faraway farms. We could grow it right in urban areas on rooftops, basements, or even old factories. Her words made me think deeply. "It's amazing," I said. "Technology and nature working together." "Exactly," she said. "That's what sustainable living is all about." Before leaving, I asked Mia what inspired her to start this project. She said she wanted to make farming sustainable, accessible, and educational. When people visit here, she said, they not only see how food is grown, but also learn new ways to protect the planet. That day, I realized vertical farming was more than just a cool idea. It was a vision of the future. It showed that innovation can solve global problems like hunger and climate change. More importantly, it taught me how English connects with science, technology, and everyday life. On my way home, I reflected on the vocabulary I had learned: hydroponics, aeroponics, sustainable nutrients, self-sufficient, and irrigation. Each word now carried a real-life memory. I also learned expressions like cut above the base and nutrient-rich solution. When I got home, I wrote a short journal in English about my experience. Here's part of what I wrote. Today, I didn't just learn about farming, I learned about the power of human creativity. Vertical farming shows how we can feed the world while caring for nature. I also discovered that learning English becomes easier when you connect it to something real and exciting. That evening, as I looked at the lettuce I had brought home, I smiled. It wasn't just a vegetable. It was proof of how far I had come in both language and understanding of our modern world. The next week, I joined a volunteer program at Greenrise to help teach children about eco-friendly farming in English. It was a wonderful way to keep practicing my speaking skills while doing something meaningful. Now, whenever I eat a salad, I remember that day, the day I tried vertical farming. It was not only about growing plants, but also about growing myself as a learner, as a communicator, and as a global citizen.